instructor for the Atlanta Institute of Aesthetics, a division of Atlanta School of Massage, and I'm here to show you how to use Milan hard wax. We'll be doing an eyebrow and an arm wax on our awesome model, Ashley, and she's also an instructor here at the school. Alright, so the wax is ready to use, and we prepared it exactly how you saw earlier with melting it and preheating it. And the consistency is really important to check, so you'll want to make sure that it's very thick, sort of the same consistency as honey. But you wouldn't want it any thinner than, say, pancake syrup. That would be too thin, and then also it would be too hot. And because of the high content of the beeswax, you can work with this at a much lower temperature. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare Ashley's skin, and we're going to prepare her eyebrows with a little bit of antiseptic. And we're using witch hazel because that's natural and you have far less problems and irritations with the skin. And it is important to make sure that you prepare the skin properly so that your client doesn't break out after waxing, and also that the wax is applied nicely and you'll get a better result. Now we're going to use a little bit of oil, which is different than when you're working with soft wax. And I just basically put 3 drops of oil on my hand, and I'm going to lightly coat her skin. If you apply too much oil ahead of time, then the wax actually won't adhere to the hairs and it'll slide around on the skin. But you need just a little bit to coat the skin because it just works better with removing the hair. Powder tends to dry out the skin and it makes the wax less flexible. And this is a really easy hard wax to work with. You apply it just like soft wax with the direction of hair growth, and you remove it in the opposite direction. And it stays pretty flexible and easy to work with. And then just to make sure that I haven't applied too much oil, I'm just going to use a tissue right now to kind of get any excess off. And we're also going to test the wax temperature as a safety precaution. So I'll test it on myself first. And again, it's going to feel warm, but it shouldn't feel hot. And then we'll test on Ashley. May I have your wrist, please? How's that feel, Ashley?
Temperature's good.
Okay, great. I'll wait for it to cool. Nope. There we go. All right, you can put your wrist down. So I'm just going to check Ashley's eyebrows. Are you happy with the shape of your eyebrows?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're just going to get some of these sparse hairs that are on the outside, so she's got a nice polished look. When you're working with hard wax, you want to be real careful that you're not applying too much at one time, and you want to make sure that you're pressing it into the skin and the hair. So I'm starting with a real thin application just to know exactly where I'm going to be working. I can come back and build that wax up so that the wax doesn't become brittle when I remove it. Once you do that initial application, getting the hair and the wax to become one piece, you don't have to press hard when you're building up your strip. The other thing that you'll notice is I'm applying beyond where the hair is on the eyebrow. And another thing to avoid getting wax strings everywhere is you want to stay close to your wax, turning your applicator and then breaking those strings before you remove. So you can see that the wax has already gotten cloudy. That's a great indicator. I'm going to have Ashley tilt your head to the side for me. We're going to flick the end, apply a little pressure, and there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and just move across the brow. We're going to do the center next. And whatever wax you apply, remember that's what you're going to be removing. So never apply more wax than what you want to remove in one application. And your hard wax should always be longer than it is wide. And again, we're just waiting for it to get cloudy. How's your skin feeling, Ashley?
Feels great.
Good. Now you may need to stop periodically and stir your wax to make sure that the consistency is staying even. All right, and we're just going to work our way right on over to the other eyebrow. There's those wax strings. And again, I'm just building up my strip. All right, and so here we're just going to come across the top and get those nice little vellus hairs. Right, so you can see when you're working with such a small amount of hard wax that it gets cloudy really quickly. You can actually see the hairs in the wax. So it's even getting those really fine hairs, which a lot of hard waxes do not do that. A lot of the hard waxes are so thick that it's hard to get really fine hair. So that's one of the reasons why I love working with this wax, and I love teaching with it, because it's very consistent, and you know when you apply it, you're going to be able to remove the hairs effectively. The only time that that might not happen is if the client's hairs are actually too short. But as far as getting coarse hair and fine hair growth, this wax is fantastic for that. Okay, again, we're waiting for it to get cloudy. If you don't wait for it to set, when you're going in for your removal of the wax, it could stretch and break, and it might not actually grip the hairs. What I do now is we finished our waxing service with Ashley, and we're going to go over the skin with antiseptic again. We want to close that follicle down so that she doesn't break out, she doesn't have any bacteria enter those follicles and give her an infection. And then we're also going to add a little bit of post-soothing oil. Another option is if you don't want to use a post-soothing oil, lavender is fantastic. I like to use lavender as well because I think it lets your client leave your waxing facility happy and relaxed. So that's a little bit of post oil. Gonna follow with some lavender. And then the only recommendations that I really need to give Ashley after her service is that she'll want to be careful of using any harsh exfoliants for the next 24 to 48 hours. Stay out of the sun. Also, she wouldn't want to use any like washcloths or anything rough on her face. And she can't have microdermabrasion or chemical exfoliation for a few days. And again, we're just going to go over her skin so that her skin looks nice when she leaves. And there you go, there's hard wax application for her eyebrows.